An Ajax.
But yes, I'm here. Give me just a second, everyone. I'll get that note chat.
Alrighty.
Always there when sweat the aisles. Murph is already drunk. I love that.
That sounds very believable.
Somebody in the stream tell me if sound is too loud. Like, can you hear the people in Discord that are talking and stuff?
I can't hear anyone in the Discord.
It sounds pretty clear.
So you can hear people in the Discord?
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. All right, excellent.
All right. Oh, it's raining.
Works out well with the audio balance too. Like the music isn't too loud, so should be all set.
All right, cool. Turn down my internal
Oh,
audio.
poor.
Turn down my internal audio.
We really do need to set a logo for our Twitch channel.
Yeah.
Green hurts my eyes. So big.
I'll do something about that after the stream.
Oh, we would be lost without you, Cody.
I'm sure you would be.
Wow, is really the only question we've gotten so far. How has Terran's day been?
Yes.
Because
Although you want to switch over to Cody's
Tease
For now.
doc.
Oh yeah.
Although we still haven't gotten more questions yet.
Yes, please, if you have questions, ping them to me. Do not use the question roll. It annoys our staff. Some of our staff, at least.
No, I'm pretty. The staff have the ability to remove it from themselves, so feel free.
In.
Hey, Taryn, I should let you know.
Yes.
69 Big Willy Man 420 says, I love you, Taryn.
Oh, well, that sounds very much like fancy.
Oh, it's such a good name, dude.
Brand, you can ping T directly.
Yes.
Yes, you can either DM me or ping it in the State of the Server chat. I would recommend you do it in the State of the Server chat. It's easier to do it that way. I might miss a DM.
You get so many.
Yes, I do.
Admirers.
He's really popular.
Really
Alright.
is.
I'm gonna go grab a drink and my script writing book real fast.
Oh, we have to go on script?
He's
Shucks.
writing the script right now.
I wasn't prepared for this.
Did veteran color become lighter? Oh,
Blame
okay.
Io.
What? What am I being blamed for?
Io is the chief pinging officer. I don't know what you're talking about.
I think I
Alright.
still have that role.
You do.
Yes.
It's
Oh
hot pink.
god.
God, Ajax was making me think I was going to be late. I mean, I know there's, like, tradition, but come on.
Oh, back. I'm gonna grab a drink refill before we start.
Oh,
yeah,
look
no,
who decided to show up.
Wowzers. All it took was Io heading out.
I'm still getting my drink.
Still getting the drink. Alrighty. Well, welcome everyone to State of the Server. Hopefully a few of our Europeans feel like they're not here quite as late as they have been in the past. And we can get things done a little bit earlier for you Europeans. But so we have a hell of a State of the Server plan. There's a lot of stuff to talk about. And as always, direct your questions to T.
Yes, please.
We'll be doing all the normal stuff, promotions, talking about features. Heck, we can even do a history lesson if people want it again. But
Please no.
before
History
we go,
lesson. Please.
But before we go anywhere, We don't want to beat around the bush. We don't want to do anything crazy. We even had a hilarious talk about doing it as the last thing and then not answer questions about it. But that was just for fun. The real thing is it's time to address the elephant in the room, and that is that the server has very few players on it, and we will once again be going into a dev. Now, along with that, there's a lot to talk about, and I will go ahead and start talking about all of it. First things first, I am not going to sit here and promise like we have in the past that this isn't going to happen again. We've said that in the past and not followed through on it, so I don't expect any of you guys to believe that. Instead, I'm going to tell you guys the entire truth about why we're doing a restart now, why we've done them in the past, and why we would ever do them in the future. And it's as simple as, are people playing? Now, yes, there's some people online right now, and there's been 1 or 2 players on throughout the week, but overall, Atlas activity is at an all-time low. And when that happened, it's a sign to us that we're doing some stuff wrong, but it also presents an opportunity. When there aren't nearly as many people playing, we can take the server down and get a lot of stuff done. And so you guys don't need to worry about server restarts and dev periods happening all the time when the servers are active. It's only going to happen when there's very, very little activity. Now, there's a second part to this. I know a lot of you guys, even though you aren't playing as much, or you haven't played in a while, or maybe you are one of the few players who's actively playing, we know that you guys care about your builds. We know that you guys care about the stuff that you've built and created, and we don't want to take that away from you without any way of getting it back. People who are here for the last dev period know that we promised to warp in builds for players, but there were 2 problems with that. 1, you had to go get an admin, and 2, the map was different. So it wasn't necessarily going to match up, and so a lot of players chose not to use it because it was too big a hassle and it required getting more people involved. We are going to offer an entirely automatic system that will allow you to warp in your build from the last server. And since the map's not changing, you can get that stuff right where it was before from the old map without having to contact anybody. You just type a command and it works. The one catch is that there will be a price tag attached to it. It won't be big because the goal is simply to make it so that you're not getting a free build. We want to make it so that there's at least some value to time exchange, because that is something we've always believed is important for the economy to work in any sort of way. So, with those 2 things out of the way, I know there's going to be more questions, and we will totally get to those questions at the end, but there is a whole new world of things that we can get done faster and that we can kind of restart on that we couldn't easily do when the server was live. So there is a lot of stuff in development. As a matter of fact, we've worked out almost an entire development schedule, everything that we're going to get done. Some bits and pieces might change, but overall, we can tell you guys everything we plan to have for launch. Now, before we get into all that stuff, though, we have promotions. And I know it seems kind of weird to have promotions at this time, but believe it or not, we may be going into a dev period with the server, but we're not looking to kind of just leave the community hanging in that time period. We are going to have lots of events and stuff that happen over the course of that time. Things like dev streams, community game nights, a lot of stuff, because we know for a lot of you guys, it's not just the server that's fun, it's the friends of the community that exist around it. And so we want that to continue and to be something that everyone continue to have fun with. As a matter of fact, stick around after State of the Server tonight for our first impromptu game night. But with that said, as we're going to continue to have the community grow and thrive, we're still going to have promotions because we're still going to need staff members, and we still want to recognize people in our community who are awesome members of the community. And so with that, we are going to launch into promotions. We don't have any keepers this time, but we do have some vanguards, and we do have some wardens. However, I don't have a list of the current promotions, so whoever does have that, take it away.
You or me,
Taryn.
Taryn, go for it.
All right. So yeah, as Ajax did say, we don't have keeper promotions set this time around. We didn't get very many nominations, and it's just a lot of our newer influx of players didn't end up sticking around much. which is a shame. Hurts a little. But I fully believe that will no longer be the case in a while. Yes, Elliot, we'll get that in a bit. So, promotions, we have for Vanguard, Rockhopper 8, my boy. He's currently running the event here. The Noctarian Empire is. Feel free to, of course, hop on the server, and I can teleport you over. It's very pleasant. We also have Mr. J20, another person who is involved, is part of the nation there running here. And finally, we have Little Tengu, who's currently taking a break from Alice. Just a lot of stuff came up and he's really busy, but he has been a very positive member of the community in the past.
Also,
So, of course,
just keep in mind, if you are being promoted this time around, if we don't get your ranks, in-game or on Discord, give us a little bit of time, like a day or 2 days. If you still don't have your rank, just ping either an Elder or a Paragon or a Sentinel, and we'll get your ranks to you right away.
Just go to Sid. So, we've also got, over the past cycle, we had quite a few Warden promotions. So I will be listing those, and starting off, our first new staff member is Elliot. Elliot 590 in-game.
Woo.
Congrats, Elliot. Next up is T-Pressed in-game for Warden.
Woo.
Then Hexta.
Woo.
I know she hates being called Hexta.
Yeah, I
and
call her all the time.
that's a lot of fireworks.
I was just gonna
And
say,
last
there's
but not
tons
least-
of fireworks going off here.
Shinky
Damn.
will also be joining us on the Warden team. So, I will go ahead and work on updating everyone's roles, but congratulations to everyone for the promotions. I'll hand it back to Ajax.
Awesome. So that's not the only part of staffing community stuff that's going to happen. There is one other very important piece of the staffing puzzle that is changing with the dev period and beyond. Something that's been happening for a while, but we want to kind of officially announce it. Our staff are aware of this, by the way. We're not springing this on them last second or anything. But all of the elders will, effectively speaking, no longer be involved in staffing. We are going to be entirely delegated to doing development, and we are going to make sure that we can spend all our time actually getting that development done. Now, it doesn't mean you can't come to us with problems and stuff if there's a real big issue, but if all the staffing stuff is going to be handled by our staff team. If there are issues, they're going to handle it. We aren't going to be involved in handing out punishments or deciding rules or any of that stuff. Our staff are fully taking over that process, and the elders are going to stick to development more. We think that that'll make things better. We don't get to play as much as a lot of our staff do. They'll have a better opinion and view on things. And a lot of us started it as devs anyway. We kind of became the lead of the staff team because we were the lead of the dev team. But it doesn't need to be that way. And we can't tell you how excited we are to focus on the dev stuff so that we can give you guys more of what you want from Atlas and let the people who have proven to be the best staff members step forward as the top of the staff team. And so with that, Taryn is now on top of the staff team. So don't piss him off. All right. Now, with all that done out of the way, congratulations everyone on your promotions. We're excited to have you guys on the staff team, and where elders are excited to be off of the staff team. It is time to dive into Atlas, past, present, and future. Is anybody interested in the past at this point? We used to do it immediately, but at this time, a lot of you guys, I recognize almost every single name in this chat. A lot of people probably aren't very interested in hearing the past story again. And if you are and everyone else is outweighing you, just ask around. You can get the whole history. You can even PM me after this, and I'll send it to you myself. But yeah, all right. Yeah, I don't think people want to go over it again, so we'll skip that. I would talk about the present, but you guys know what's happening in the present. The server will be shutting down soon. The one thing I'll add to that is that the server will not be shutting down immediately. We're not going to shut down the server tonight or anything. We believe in giving you guys some time to hang out, say goodbye to some of your builds or what have you. Obviously, you'll still be able to get those builds back, but we always want to give people that time. So the server will not shut down for about 2 weeks. We are going to make an official announcement post, and we'll have the official date in there and all that stuff. But yeah, the server is not going to shut down immediately or anything like that. And obviously tonight we'll be having a community games night, so that'll be fun. Anyway, on to the future. What is the dev period actually going to look like? What the heck are we actually going to get done? And why would it even be worth logging into Atlas once it restarts? Well, I hope that all the stuff I'm about to list will give you good reasons. So one of the biggest points about our dev period now is fixing the issues around getting people into the server and then adding the late game content that the server so desperately needs. So kind of focusing on getting new players into the stride and then helping our players who've been around a while have things to do once they've collected all the resources, once they've done all that stuff. End game content that can be repeated a whole bunch, hopefully a whole bunch and endlessly. So, to start off, as you guys, as one of you has probably thought, when you log into Atlas after the start, you're like, God damn it, I'm going to have to sit through the entire freaking tutorial again. No, you will not have to. As a matter of fact, we've already begun the overhaul of the tutorial. The entire thing will be basically skippable. There will be a little text that you have to sit through, but most of it will be skippable. And we've also decided that we want to guide players a little bit more as they play the game, as opposed to giving them a massive exposition dump right at the beginning and then abandoning them. We're going to add a guide system that will give you tips and tricks and suggestions as you play, so that you as a new player can hopefully figure out what the hell's going on in Atlas. We recognize there's a whole bunch on the server, and it can be both overwhelming and absolutely confusing at the same time. So we're going to add a system that will help guide players through that. But obviously, once again, for veterans, you can just turn that off if you don't want it. So moving on to some of the other stuff. One of the big things that we're going to be doing that I imagine some of you are wondering about, we're going to update the server version. We're going to move to 1.16.4 as it currently stands. I guess if 1.16.5 comes out in that time, we'll do that. And yes, with 1.16 comes a nether, and that will happen. We're going to have a custom nether that we're going to add with its own city and quests. But more than that, we also are going to update a lot of our skills to utilize the new blocks. We're going to officially and finally move all the skills away from the knowledge-based system that they were, where you had to remember the recipes, and move them towards skill-based systems, where you have to complete tasks and mini-games that will prove that you're actually good at doing your job, or that you're paying attention at least. So a lot of our skills will be moving that direction as well. But the stuff that I know a lot of you guys are excited about, we're going to add a lot of endgame content. We're going to make it so there's a lot of fun stuff to do at the end of the game. We are going to be releasing the trials with launch. For those that don't know, the trials is an endless dungeon. And this dungeon will be able to give you lots of rewards, and it'll almost be its own game within the game. You're going to want to take in your best stuff, but as you go through the trials, you will get weapons specific to the trials that allow you to get even further. There will be leaderboards, and you guys will be able to see who can grind through that dungeon the farthest. See who can get the most levels down each month or what have you. We're also going to expand on some of the current systems. A lot of people don't like wars because they don't currently have much of an outcome. We're going to fix that. We're going to add war reparations so that you can wage a war for a purpose and it will have meaning at the end of the day. We tried to add money to wars. I messed that up and it didn't work. Promise that stuff will be fixed. We will have an entire war reparation system. You'll be able to do things like, for example, as a player, be like, hey, I want to protect my biome. You'll be able to do that. You'll be able to declare a war on someone, fight them, and if you win, you can prevent them from settling a town in your biome. Now, there's a whole bunch of other things that you can do, but essentially, you'll have a lot of actual options that allow you to do something fun with the end of a war. Yes, biome claims official. I know. So, yeah. Beyond that, though, another thing that we're going to add is the Aetheran Council. We've mentioned that one a few times in the past, but we're finally going to have time to do it. It'll be a lot easier. We're going to overhaul the leaderboards a bit, too, with it. There's a lot of things on the leaderboards that need to change, like fixing goddamn enchantments and other stuff. But essentially, the leaderboards are actually going to matter now. People who are the leaders on the leaderboards will be able to decide policies that affect all players, and will be able to kind of direct the server in directions that benefit them, their friends, or everybody, depending on what is in your interest. For example, you could make it so that all wood drops at double the rate, or something like that. I'm making these things up, but it's the basic idea that you'll be able to determine some policies that benefit everyone, but obviously you can pick the policies that benefit you more. We're not going to add any policies that allow you to attack others, because we want the Aetheran Council to be something that is just always good, but it can be better for you if you're on top of the leaderboards. Okay, so that's a lot of stuff we're adding, but there's still a whole bunch more stuff. We're adding religions, finally. Religions is going to be a part of the launch as well.
Maybe.
So get ready for that. No, it will be. It will be. You're not allowed out of the coding dungeon until it's done, see? Yes, you can lead your own cult, you can lead your own religion. Now, beyond that, another thing we're adding is we're going to actually add a full-fledged achievement system into the game. We recognize that a lot of players feel that the only way to contribute is to a nation. We want players to feel like they can actually have some of their own personal achievements. You will be able to gain ranks and items and stuff that come from achievements that you get, and you can show off your achievements to others. So achievements will be a thing, and we won't just have something stupid like, gather 1,000,000 cobblestone. We're gonna have interesting things that tie into our quest, that tie into like getting all the smeltery ingots, making a masterwork ingot, like a whole bunch of stuff that's gonna tie and kind of bring a lot of the things on Atlas together. And there's even more stuff. There is so much stuff that we are going to have for this State of the Server launch. A whole bunch of fun stuff. And one of the things, too, that we want people to look forward to is that when we relaunch the server, we are actually going to have a full laid-out plan for marketing and advertising, because we found that when we launch, we have a lot of players, but then it starts to trickle down. Players start to leave. We're going to absolutely 100% try and counter that. We're going to be reaching out to lots of streamers and YouTubers. We're looking to have multiple streamers and YouTubers on launch day, as well as having articles written and advertising. We are looking to make some massive changes to the way that not only the game works and how much fun it is, but the way in which we get the word out to people. Because we know that as much as you guys love Atlas, it's not nearly as much fun unless there's other people around to play with. Both to be allies, friends, or even enemies. You just need other people to play with. So we have a massive amount planned and coming for this dev period. And hopefully that long speech I just gave is a good enough reason to log in when we launch again. I think it will be, and I hope you guys agree. Now, with that, I don't have anything in particular to say more on the topic. Does anyone else have anything they want to add to that?
I'm just trying to think of other things on this list that we're going to get done in this period. Oh, one other big thing that is coming. Some of you who were around during Alpha may remember this, but event islands are coming back. And there will be quite a few more than when launched. Things like smuggling and fun stuff like that we've been trying to work back into the server. Those will be back. Dungeons will be updated not only to the new version, but the looting system will be transitioning to a random loot system. Mobs will be redone. Bosses in current dungeons will be reworked. Dungeon quests will be reworked. There will be a combat update with a lot of the new skills. Something we've been talking about with things like the new smeltery and new tannery systems. our magic resistance and ways to counter magic. A lot of those things will be coming together. Yeah, I think Ajax covered all the other big things we're doing here. We've got achievements. We've got a brand new Naru. We've got a guide plugin. We've got a brand new achievement system. We've got the trials. We've got the Etherian Council. We've got a whole new Nether continent. We've got religions, the trials. I think those are the big ones. And then, of course, just general quality of life stuff, things that we want to, polish, that are, going to be a lot easier for us to do during this period. And yeah, I think that's everything, more or less.
Awesome. And with that, we know that it's only been 30 minutes, but we know that there's going to be even more questions than normal. Or at the very least, we expect that there might be, and we want to make sure that there's more than enough time for them. So we're going to go ahead and just dive straight into questions here.
Real quick. To kind of recap what both Ajax and Io have said, almost every part of the server we will be doing at least a polishing phase on. So a lot of the stuff that you guys see in the server today may or may not change and may or may not be overall just better. Just kind of overall we're going to be doing a polishing phase over everything on the server. So just wanted to add that in before we head into questions.
Yeah, all right. And so we'll go ahead and dive into these questions here. We know there's going to be a million of them, and we're hoping we'll have time to answer them all. So first one, is the 1.17 update going to affect the server in any way? As we don't know when this is coming out and everything it's going to include, I can't give you much of an answer there. We aren't going to delay launch for an extra month or stuff like that for 1.16. But if it's a very easy upgrade or it doesn't add anything exciting, we'll deal with it. If there are things that we really want to use in 1.17 and it's not too hard, then yeah, we'll probably do it. But it's not something we're planning to do because a lot of times new versions don't necessarily have super interesting stuff, but they also reduce server performance and they require us to update multiple dozens of plugins. So we'll see. It really depends on what 0.17 actually ends up looking like. All right. Are we going to lose all our items in the restart? Yes. We are going to be removing items. Even if you warp in builds, the chests will be empty. And obviously, if you build a house out of diamond blocks, it's not going to transfer over. It'll just not transfer over the diamond blocks. It's only going to transfer over builds. We know that players care about their builds and that players put a lot of time into them. But we also know that builds don't massively affect, your ability to, have all the resources that you could ever need. So yeah, you're not going to be able to keep all of your items, and it's a bummer. I know, and I wish there was a way in which we could bring over all the items and stuff and have it be fair, but it just, unfortunately, it won't be too fair. So we're going to have to leave the items behind. As for some specific items, I know people mentioned some mementos that are just of importance to you that really don't bother in the game. You know what? That's a good point. We might end up making some way in which players will be able to get/transfer over a few items, a few cool little things that they want to get. It'll probably be things that don't stack because we don't want people pulling over a whole bunch of important stuff. That could give them a massive advantage, but we do understand a lot of people have specific things that they want to bring over, and we'll allow you to bring those over. All right, next one. Will there be a time limit to reclaiming the builds after restart? Like if we come back 6 months after restart, will it still be able to reclaim? Currently, the plan is to allow you to do it literally whenever. And it means that if you just it's, a year after the dev period finished, you go to a place where there used to be something cool and you want it, yeah, just type in the command, see what you get. You might get something fun. You could probably just start warping back in the entire old map if you wanted to. Please don't do that, but you could. Alrighty. server reset means entire reset, as in player unbanned 2, entire map. So it doesn't necessarily mean that all players are unbanned. But as we said, the elders are no longer involved. So if you guys feel that the elders were unfair to you, go talk to the staff team. We're not involved anymore. Maybe they'll have a different feeling on it. But yeah, we're not unbanning players who have done awful things to the server just because we're doing a restart. But every banned player is absolutely more than welcome to appeal their ban. And if you feel you have a better shot without the elders being involved in that process, feel free. We trust our staff, and if they think that you are good to be on the server now, then welcome back. All right, next one. Is the reset related to any of the recent revolutions, as we could call it? Yeah, we knew this question would come up, and it's not. I know a lot of the players aren't necessarily even going to believe that, but it's not. I mean, there's just not that many players playing right now. As a matter of fact, some players have noticed that the accounts have gone up a little bit this week. It's just yeah, it happened around the same time. The server was already low on players before it happened. It was probably something that was going to end up happening regardless. But yeah, you'll either believe me or not. We're honestly just not too worried about it. We're more interested in having an awesome Atlas server and a fun community. Those things are just far more important to us. Will there be progression-based character power? Will there be progression-based crafting? So we thought about this. As a matter of fact, this was one of the things that was heavily on the table. And we are not going to do it. And the main reason for this is that we looked at multiple different models for kind of character-based power and progression, skills, crafting, stuff like that. And there's kind of three models. There's one that makes it a very small part of the game where, like, for example, you level up smeltery a bit, and you can go from doing little with smeltery to a whole bunch of smeltery, and that's it. And you kind of have this small focus on the kind of specialty Atlas skills, and then once you level up those like 6 skills, you're done, and that progression, like, that's it. It doesn't really matter very much anymore. And we felt that that was a little bit disingenuous from what Atlas is really supposed to be, because most of the game is not based around that character progression. Now, leading off of that statement, we also thought about making it so that there would be character progression built into every part of the game from the beginning to the end, and have it be a massive part of Atlas. Well, there's 2 problems with that ultimately made us choose against it. One, it's a massive rewrite of all the server code. We have to include leveling and progression in everything to make it worthwhile. And then it also makes it so that our more veteran players have an even bigger advantage over newer players. The resources and the knowledge that you have is already a massive advantage. Giving you, weeks, even months worth of skill leveling up over them, it just makes it insurmountable. And we don't want it to be that big, especially because you guys can attack each other and declare war against each other's will. And all of a sudden, it becomes a pretty unfun game if you're a new player. Now, the third model is to have a system that is much more surface level, something like MCMMO. Hopefully you guys can understand why we decided not to do something like MCMMO. Those kind of skill things are just kind of worthless Skinner boxes, and we don't think that that's really useful gameplay. And now you can fix MCMMO not to be abusable, but it's always going to be less than good. And so we didn't want to do that either. And so ultimately, no, we ended up not going with a progression-based system because it didn't quite fit Atlas without a massive amount of work and potentially reworking large parts of the server. But yeah, we are going to have, again, as we said, achievements and stuff like that. You'll still be able to have personal advancement in that sense, but it won't be in that skill-based way. All right, how long will the dev period be, aka when will we be able to play again? So as we have done in the past, we don't know exactly how long it's going to be. We will enter the dev period without a date set, and after we're able to see how quickly we're working, we will start to work out when we will launch, and then we will announce that launch a few months ahead of time. And so hopefully that'll give players more than enough time to clear up their schedules if they choose to, be aware that it's going to happen. But at this time, we can't give you that level of certainty on exactly when it's going to happen. But for those that have been around for past dev period, it's never been more than 6 months. So there you go. What about builds with lots of entities in them? Yes, so things like picture frames and stuff like that. We should be able to transfer those over. I can't promise that it will happen. It really is going to depend on some other factors, but we'll see. I know that that's a big one, and players really want me to say yes to it. But it's actually a lot harder than you think. And because of that, there's a reason things like World Edit, a massive plugin with millions of users, fails to do this. So we're going to give it our best shot, but I can't guarantee it. Will quests also reset? Yes, quests will reset, but there's also going to be massive additions to the quest trees. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on. And so while it definitely, some players don't want to redo some quests, but there might be adjustments to quests that you've already done, and we want people to get that part of the experience again. So yes, quests will reset. I'm sorry if some of you don't want to do those quests again, but hopefully you guys will be able to get even more out of those quests once we're able to incorporate some new stuff. Have the regen changes to let Rails community builds been more viable, to make things more viable, been implemented? Yes, they have been.
They were implemented. They were implemented at the last state of the server. Actually, before the last state of the server.
Yeah. So those
week
community
before, yeah.
builds would still work. What is the plan for the economy? Specifically, will there be gem sinks, character power, like materials you can buy? Yeah, we do have more plans for gem sinks and stuff like that, because we do know that a lot of players have more money than they know what to do with, and they need more outlets to use that money. So that will be something we work on. I know it's a little vague, but we're still working out a lot of the new features and how they will incorporate into that stuff. Yes. Talk, yes.
Yeah.
What happens with towns already built in said biome claims? Oh, yeah. So for war reparations, if they've already built a town there, we're not going to allow you to force someone to give up their entire town. It's too much to try and take from somebody. Now, you might be able to increase their taxes to convince them to move or something like that, but we're not going to give you the ability to forcibly remove someone from something they've been working on possibly for a year. It's too harsh, and it's something that makes people feel like they don't even want to give it a shot because it's just going to be taken from them. Atheran Council. Will you be able to create sub-nations and take every Atheran Council spot? I mean, as leaderboards have always worked, they're based on direct action from players. So if you had a nation that had more active players doing more active stuff than anyone else in the game by a factor of 10, you could split into 10 nations and take that. You could do that. I will be shocked if any of you can do that. But again, you can't have negative policies to attack specific nations. So even if you have full control of it, you might get to say, well, we need wood, so we're going to have something that says double wood drops, but other people still get it. It may not be as useful for them, but you can't go around killing people and making their lives hell just because you have 10 times the number of active players. But again, I can't imagine any of you will have that power. Feel free to try and prove me wrong. Skill updates. Do we have any idea what the skill-based minigames look like? There's going to be a large range of them, and we are going to try and have as few reaction-based minigames as possible. There will be some, but most of them will be kind of strategy and like design-focused, puzzle-focused, as opposed to reaction-focused. And the reason for that is because we know that some people play with massive ping, and reaction-based minigames can be pretty hard to do. So we're going to have some, but few. We're trying to aim more towards puzzle and strategy minigames within skills. And they're all going to obviously be based around the skill that you're doing. You're not going to be patching up some Among Us wires to get your smelter working. That's not going to happen. Will we see the quest system tie into crafting? Right now, there have been no plans for it. But
yeah, I'll take this one. This is actually
Yeah,
something we have talked about extensively in the past. One idea that we kind of tossed around when we were talking about the sort of revamped skill systems was tying them directly to quests and having it be a sort of you learn, whether it be ingots or hides or whatever it is, through leveling or through completing quests rather. We decided against it. Ultimately, there are a fair amount of people who don't necessarily like quests dictating an entire mechanic, and at the end of the day, that's kind of how it would have had to have tied into it to sort of make it the balanced sort of leveling system, unlock system. So at the end of the day, no, crafting is not going to be tied into the quest system. There may be quests that you'll be able to get certain perks and things if a certain ingot or a certain have access to a certain fish or something like that, but you're not going to have to do quests to level your crafting, so to speak, because we want those two things to remain separate.
Cool. All right, skill updates magic. Will the current words be revamped so people don't start with a head start, or will the words stay the same? We honestly haven't thought about it. It's not a bad idea. I'll say that. Definitely not a bad idea. We don't want to give people a head start on that stuff. But I'm not going to be able to give you a specific answer now because that's something we'll want to discuss more. But good question. Thank you for bringing that up. We might have actually forgot that. Will Magic Revamp be implemented too? Yes. There's going to be a lot of Magic changes. Tier has been doing some awesome stuff with Magic. It's going to be really cool. I'm excited to see what's going to happen and see what you guys think of it. Will there be titles or knowledge-based skills besides Magic? So we're going to probably have titles and stuff in-game that come with things like achievements. But as for knowledge-based skills, we want to have few of them. We don't want Atlas to be spreadsheet simulator. A lot of people already think it is. Even after we simplified a lot of the skills, people still think it is. So we don't want to add too many more knowledge-based skills.
And
it's just too much.
Yeah, and even with Magic, I'm slowly with the rework of Magic. It is also moving away from a knowledge-based skill to a certain extent. Obviously, like with the typing and stuff like that, you can see all of the words that you have in front of you, and each spell has a very specific formula that is known to all of the players now. If I remember correctly, Rai made a forum post on it, but the basically how you craft spells is far less of guesswork, and it's a lot more streamlined and a lot easier to kind of get into for newer players.
All right, on to the next one. So this is a question. This player is clearly concerned about losing their stuff. But the question is, how are we supposed to do trials if we lose all the good stuff we had from the reset? I had armor that I wanted to keep. Will there be compensation and stuff? We will not be compensating items that are being lost from the reset. It is a reset. Everyone is supposed to be back at an even playing field. And it is true that at the start of the game, if you go into the trials with what you have, you're probably going to get absolutely stomped. We don't expect people to really start using the trials for a few weeks into the game. But yeah, so the trials is that late game content, and we do recognize that by putting everyone back at the very beginning of the game with the restart, you won't hit it immediately. But it will be there when you get there, and it will be a fun dungeon crawling experience. And again, guys, the trials is an endless, procedurally generated dungeon made by Tyr. It is awesome. He's already got a lot of it done. It's very cool, and it will be a lot of fun. But yes, you will have to get your items and stuff back. Are pre-made dungeons staying? Will there be rewards remain balanced? Yes, pre-made dungeon will be staying, and as Io mentioned, we will be randomizing the rewards, but of course, ultimately, they'll be staying around the same level of balance that we've had. We may adjust things a little bit because we have a restart and we can adjust prices and stuff, but I mean, they will stay the same level of power that they're currently at, if that answers the question. What happens to tomes?
Really quick on the dungeons question before we move on. There will also be 1 or 2 new dungeons, not including the trials. So 1 or 2 story dungeons, as we call them, just kind of the linear dungeons, as opposed to a randomly generating one like the trials will be.
Yep. All right. What happens to tomes? Yeah, so a lot of players have supported our server by buying tomes from us. You'll get to keep the tomes. Now, the specific item that it was attached to, you will not get back, but you will be given a number of tomes equal to the amount that you have bought. We have a full database of every single tome that has ever been bought on Atlas, and we will give them back to you upon your request after the dev restart. We're not interested in withholding things that you guys have paid for to support the server. For people who want their own town again, will they get the right to claim it first so that they can get their own work back? So we've kind of enforced this in the past. The staff have not specifically talked about this, and obviously I'm not the leader of the staff team anymore, but I can say with a fairly high level of certainty that yes, if somebody's going to claim your town just to steal it from you, they're going to get booted out and you're going to get it. And it's going to be very obvious who owned the town before. So hopefully this won't be a problem because no one's going to try and be a dick like that. But we will know who owned the town before, and we're not going to stand for people just trying to be assholes and claim someone else's town before they can get there. There's just no reason to do that. It's just not cool. But yeah, what will happen to nations and coffers of said nations? Those things will dissolve as well with the dev period. So you will have to reform your nations. But yeah, that's the thing as well. Economy, unique items. Any new unique items because there is no player economy? We haven't specifically talked about unique items and stuff with the reset of the player economy, but there will be new quests, and with quests, there's always new custom items. And who knows? Maybe we will add some more custom items. We've definitely thought about it, adding some kind of legendary unique items. There'll be stuff. Will there be any overhauls to the auction house? We have not had any specific talks about overhauls of the auction house or changes to it. But we know that it's not used a whole bunch right now. And with that information, we may keep it around, we may rework it. It really depends, but we'll see. More of a suggestion, but will the gems change? Because I would prefer a non-physical currency to not have to waste inventory on it. So we've always had gems be physical currency because we think that there's something better about not having a floating magical wallet in the sky that exists. And there's a reason that we switched over nations. For those of you who didn't know, by the way, nations didn't used to have physical coffers. Yeah. So we are going to probably end up keeping the system, but who knows? Maybe we'll add a third level of compression so you can take up even less space with your gems. But we'll see. But we're definitely going to keep the physical economy. What are the terms for the map? You've got alpha, beta. Is this gamma or delta?
So
That's
we've
good.
got,
I like that one.
so we've got, alpha, beta, and launch. I guess the best term for this upcoming would be relaunch. So alpha, beta, launch, and relaunch. That'll be the working terms for now. TBD.
All right. Can we have a neutral market center? I'm not totally sure what you mean by that question. Does anyone else know?
I think they mean like a central area where we have like a whole bunch of shops or whatever, or like player shops where players can kind of come to easily and then set up shop or whatever. Potentially, let's put that. It's something that we can discuss. If you guys feel strongly about it, put it in the forums under suggestions, and we'll definitely look into it when we're kind of discussing.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Are you planning on doing anything about the mass quitting besides the reset? Yeah, so we've definitely had some players that have left the server, but you know what? That's totally their right, and we don't want anyone staying on Atlas who's not having fun. And so, I mean, there's nothing we can do to keep those players playing besides just keep improving Atlas, keep doing fun stuff with the community, and, you know, if they want to come back, they can come back. If they want to stay, they can stay. But yeah, that's all there is to it, really. Items like the Lifesteal Sword are really iconic and fun. Are there plans to have more items like that added? Dungeon uniques or uniques as war rewards? We do want to add more dungeon uniques. We think that dungeon uniques are really cool. We probably won't add any weapons that you can get as rewards for wars against other players. But we do want to have dungeons to have rewards and stuff. We'll probably have an entire shop based around the trials that allows you to buy things that you can't get anywhere else. But what we may also, again, we're going to have quests that add uniques. We might also even have some like secret uniques that players can find throughout the map or something like that. It hasn't been talked about in detail, but I do agree that that kind of stuff is super fun, and we would love to do more of that. Can you have specific magic words be found in parts of the trials? We could. Yeah, it's an interesting idea. We haven't specific thought about it, but I do like that idea. Thanks for bringing that one up. What's the rules on biome claims after the dev period? So, biome claims have been a really, really interesting topic over the history of Atlas. Without getting into it too far, we've never made any specific rules about biome claims, because biome claims have only ever been someone saying this is mine with no mechanical backing, and people either follow it or they don't. So we are kind of adding in some mechanical support for it, but we're not going to add any rules around it, right? We only want rules to address things that mechanics cannot. And there's no reason that we would need to have rules on top of the mechanics that address biome claim stuff. Can we please make Fletcher useful and cool, like certain arrow types or bow types? Yes.
Ajax, I will clarify. We did have a rule that
did.
is specifically saying no biome claims, and that was because we had
Did we
people
really?
biome claiming things, and then basically the entire server got biome claimed, and new players couldn't settle anywhere without getting persecuted and driven off. So I totally support having a mechanic for it, but there was a rule for it. So just to clarify.
Okay.
Go on.
See, yeah, I don't even read the rules, guys. No, scratch that from the record, guys. I read the rules. All right, can we please make Fletcher useful in arrow types, bow types? Yes, as a matter of fact, I've already written up an entire doc for it, and it will be a part of the new relaunch. So yeah, you'll be able to see Fletchery suck far less upon relaunch, hopefully. Some event rewards, will we keep those? Halloween costumes, the gift from Keyshan, and things. So yeah, this fits into that. Will you be able to keep any mementos and stuff like that? And I'm warming up to the idea more and more as it's brought up. I think we might provide a way for players to save a handful of items that they really care about to transfer over. But yeah. Unique items, utility armors, gears, items such as the carrier set. Yeah, we're going to try and add more. We kind of answered that one already, but yeah, we'll try and do it. Donations, what about gifted tomes? So we are going to give the tomes back to whoever purchased them, because that's who bought them and that's who we give them to. It's not possible really to, I guess, gift tomes to people as far as I am aware.
I don't think so.
Unless
they disappeared when they enter someone else's inventory.
So yeah. Achievements. What about items as results of achievements and tiles? Yes, that will be a thing. You'll be able to get items and money. As a matter of fact, we've even made it so that this is a tool that we're going to give to nation owners. A lot of you guys with established big nations have experienced recruiting new players and then telling them to do something that's not necessarily useful or not having anything to tell them, and then they leave because they have nothing to do. Tell them to go do achievements, because as a result of them doing achievements, your nation will get rewards for being the backing behind allowing them to get those achievements done. So it will allow them to work on themselves and make themselves look more competent and gain some items and stuff, but also the nation itself will be rewarded for supporting that player and doing those achievements. And hopefully through that system, you'll be able to recruit new players and actually keep them playing for a while, to the point where they actually become invested in the nation itself and not just what it can do for them. Okay, mythic mobs, world bosses, and summonable bosses.
Yes. World bosses, well, the entire boss system we're going to be reworking. It's something that I've planned along with the dungeon update, so-called. That's something that we did want to kind of touch on. Again, we will be working out, and we'll release more details on this, on how the new world boss scheme / summonable boss scheme is going to work.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And so that's a good segue into this next question. Can bosses drop specific armor, like dungeon armor? I've had this in some MMORPGs. The hype of getting a drop is awesome. Yes, like you mentioned earlier with the dungeon update, we are going to be transitioning to a random loot system. So it gives us a lot more possibilities to have some really cool rare items as opposed to the system that we've been kind of tied to with current dungeons, which is specific loot in specific chests, as I'm sure you guys have experienced. With a random loot system, we'll be able to have, some really rare, really cool, unique items dropped from bosses, and even from regular mobs in dungeons, with just a whole new kind of setup.
Cool. Alrighty. What will be the limit to how many biome claims we can have? So, guys, biome claims are going to be a little bit different. You go to war with a specific individual or alliance, you win that war, and you can prevent them from settling in your biome, but anybody else can. You'd have to war the entire server and win every single one of them to enforce those biome claims. And they're only enforced as long as the post-war armistice is in effect. So to fully biome claim something and prevent anybody from ever settling there, you're going to have to do a massive amount of work to do it. It's possible, but it's going to be a lot of work. The whole idea is more to allow you to prevent specific nations and groups that you don't want near you from being able to go near. Alrighty. Have collectibles been discussed? Many open world games. Oh yeah. I won't. We haven't discussed collectibles specifically, but I mean it's a good idea, and it kind of fits in with the achievement system. So maybe we'll have something like that.
Yeah.
Can we still use the wheel in dev period to grind coins? I mean, I guess yeah, it'll still be up. I guess that technically works, huh? Yeah, you can do that. Will there be repeatable endgame focused daily weekly quests?
Yes.
That's a question for you.
Yeah, there will be. Like, all of the other major systems, every sort of big mechanic is getting re-looked at, polished, sort of redone, fixed up, a new coat of paint, if you will. So with a lot of the new endgame mechanics and things coming in, the guide systems, achievements, new quests, yes, there will be quests that are repeatable, endgame focused, whether they're daily or weekly or one time. I'm sure there will be an assortment of all of those. But there's going to be a big rework on that front.
Cool. Alrighty, next one on the list here. You mentioned about streamers and YouTubers. Is there any idea on the size of their channels? What do you want to achieve? So, I mean, we're going to aim as high as we can. We're obviously not going to be getting YouTubers with millions of followers to come play on our server, but we're going to aim as high as we can, and we're even willing to pay for the service as long as it's reasonable and we think it's worth it. But we're really committing to the idea of trying to get YouTubers and streamers onto Atlas to build awareness of the server, get more people involved. But as for how high we can go and how big of streamers we can get, we have absolutely no idea. We have not contacted them yet. We feel it's a bit premature to contact them now when the dev period hasn't actually even begun yet. But, if those streamers are okay with us mentioning that they're down to join and all that stuff, then we'll announce them early so you guys can get hyped, go check out their channels, and stuff like that. Will there be any new systems, new crafting, new materials? Are there going to be new ways to earn these things? So there's not going to be too much in terms of new crafting systems like smeltery. We don't want to just add so much to the game that's impossible to do it all. We like what we have right now. We may in the future add a skill or two, but for now there's no new skills getting added. Instead, we're going to focus on polishing and fixing the ones that we currently do have, because they come from an era in which you had to know all of the recipes, and we haven't really addressed that yet. We want to spend the time to make those skills really fun again. For those that weren't around when we discussed it, one of the things that's going to be really exciting is the ability in smeltery, for example, to make higher level ingots than you ever had before. Masterwork ingots. That will be, just like the ingots you'd expect, except they come with one extra added attribute. And so you can create even better armor now by creating masterwork ingots and then just grinding for the skills that you want on them. But yeah, there's going to be some really, really cool stuff that you can do with our current skills that we want to enable before we add new skills. Some mythic mobs don't even drop their loot right now. Will that be fixed? Yes, we'll fix that.
Yes. Yeah, mythic mobs are getting, again, a big rework / relook at.
Yeah.
If there's a specific mob that's specifically not dropping things, please let us know in a bug report. As it stands, we haven't gotten any bug reports about mythic mobs not dropping the loot they're supposed to. Outside of the Kishen mob, which I do know doesn't drop its loot. But outside of that, please let us know, because again, we'll go back and we'll look and we'll test through all these things thoroughly. But if we know of an issue going in, it makes our job a lot easier going in.
All right. With the change to bioclaims, will there be sub-biomes or new biomes to make claims smaller? Currently, that hasn't been discussed, but it's not a bad idea, and maybe we'll do something with that. I can't make any promises, though. You guys ask a lot of really good questions, and because a lot of this stuff is going to be worked on over the course of many months, we don't necessarily have all the details worked out yet. So this is, by the way, this is a great time for you guys to hop in those forums and throw out your suggestions, comments, or concerns about these ideas before they get further along in development and it's harder for us to make changes. But yeah, will there be a magic leaderboard? Yes, there definitely will be. As a matter of fact, that's already written. We just constantly keep forgetting to add it at the start of a new month, and because of that, we feel bad adding it in the middle of a month, rinse, repeat every single month because we're forgetful. But yeah, so that already exists and works. The grappling hook is a really cool idea. Has there been any discussion around allowing it to be used around the world with any blocks? Well, so we don't want it to be usable with any block, because then it becomes too easy to make things like parkours and stuff inside quests or even walls during sieges just entirely useless. So we want it to be something that you have to place a block on both ends to make it useful. But yeah, there's definitely a reason why we made the blocks. Now, we may come up with another block that's easier to get to make it easier to work with stuff, but we don't want it to be a block that you'll normally place, so that it's not just going to be the case that your entire town can be, jumped around, or we'll accidentally make one of our parkours for a quest super easy just because we used the item that we weren't supposed to. Can we do a player versus staff siege event on Naru for the end of the server wipe? That's a fun idea. Obviously, again, I can't confirm or deny that, but I like that idea. I want to discuss that with the dev some, see if we can come up with something interesting. That's cool. Could we lower the Grand Exchange NPC level required for towns to encourage more use in it? I mean, we definitely can. There's nothing.
Well, in terms of town progression and nation progression, that will be getting a little bit of a passover, and I'll be kind of reworking how that plugin overall works. Again, polishing and just making it more robust of a system. But we'll be looking at some of these things and making changes where necessary.
Yeah, cool. Alrighty, roleplaying has been a big deal to some players. Are there any plans to enhance that kind of experience? Species, elves, dwarves, or things more than roleplay channel? So some of you noticed we have removed the roleplay channel. It was used so little, and whenever we had RP events, people just used local, which was fine by us, but people didn't use it very much. I do like the idea of having different species and stuff, though. Now, Atlas hasn't really used that much yet, so again, I can't say anything for sure, but make some suggestions. Maybe there is something we can do that won't be too hard that we can add to the server, just for players to have a little bit more customization in their character and their player. Unique items. If graphic book has those restrictions, will Yeet also be restricted? Yeah, we're going to be fixing some spells that allow you to just absolutely bypass everything. It was never our intention to allow those things to be so easily bypassed, but we're going to add some stuff against it. Now, it may not come in the form that you think. It's not that we're just going to remove all fun spells for being too fun. We may just create ways to counter them. And what that takes specifically in form, we haven't discussed in a massive amount of detail, but we've brought up ideas like having an anti-magic tower where you can place it, and it just, denies magic in the area till the tower is destroyed. Stuff like that. Again, not set in stone. Not saying that we're going to do that tower idea, but it's just one of the things that we thought about when we've been playing around with the idea. All right. Okay, I've caught up to T. T is desperately trying to keep up with your questions.
Yeah.
The poor guy, you're bombarding him so much. How dare you guys ask questions?
Okay, give me just a second for this question.
Is that what people call the Earth Spirits now? Good God.
Orange Jihad.
I've never
love
heard
it.
that before. Swift
That's
made it up
terrible.
on the spot. I swear. No, I don't know.
All right, obelisks really made the world feel smaller. Is it better than not having it? Has there been any idea about how to travel and teleportation work? Will we ever see the realms or planes? Obviously the Nether, but also other places. We may add other realms and planes and stuff. We have an entire lore that supports the idea. I won't give much away because it's supposed to come out in pieces of the story as they happen. But yeah, no, Atlas is a world in which these things can exist, for sure.
From what we can say, just in terms of new land, I guess you'd call it. Yes, the Nether. Nether is going to be its own, entire continent, so that will be a big land addition. And also, when we launch, we will have probably at least a half dozen event islands, and be looking to add more as we, refine that system and move forward. But there will be a lot of new areas to explore, and new, in addition to new mechanics and things like that. But yeah, event islands in the Nether are going to be the new big, land additions when we launch. But of course, there's always room to add more.
Yeah, cool. And to ask the question about making the world feel smaller, and it's better not have it. We're definitely going to keep it. We've been very strict with making teleportation something that is hard to come by. And compared to most servers, we are still fairly strict. You have to pay for fast travel between towns, except of course, the main ones. And the obelisk is a very stationary object. It doesn't move, and it only takes you to very specific points. And yes, it definitely reduces the amount of walk time that some players have. But when we had less teleportation, we had a massive amount of pushback about the fact that most of the playtime you had was just walking back and forth from your closest town. And, we don't need to pad your Atlas runtime with that specific event. We still require players to do a lot of walking and exploring, but there's just no reason to make it this menial task to travel back and forth to your closest town, which is something you do multiple times every day of play.
Now, I will say real quick on that topic, if you guys do have other ideas or how to kind of, reduce that, and if we have an opportunity to remove them for an alternative, we will definitely look into it, and we'll definitely discuss it, where it's not just going to be completely thrown out. But again, we need to see some good alternatives for that before we remove that feature.
Yep. Cool. All right. Give us the lore and history. No. What will the Nether be like? Can we... What?
Okay, that's a good answer to that one. I can actually... I'll take this next one. The Nether. What will the Nether be like? Can we expect a more dangerous world? Yes,
let's
absolutely.
not do that. Don't post things from when I was a child, please. I'll give money to whoever.
Make it go
That's
viral.
How old I was when I did that. Man, Bandicam, wonderful stuff.
Good times, simpler times. Yes, as far as the Nether is concerned, it will be very dangerous. It will be an extremely endgame area, as it has always, intended to be. I think this was mentioned before. There will be at least one new NPC town there. There will be a new dungeon there. There will be new mobs, especially world bosses. And as far as story is concerned, there will be a whole, large stride forward where the quests and sort of main storyline will progress into the Nether. So lots to do.
Yep. There's going to be custom generation and stuff. I'm not going to promise that you're going to get a second Athera. There's so much work into Ethera that we probably won't be able to do that with a Nether, but it will not be a vanilla Nether. We're going to do something special.
Mhm.
Hats. That'd be pretty cool.
Yes.
I agree.
Cool.
That could be cool. Yeah, good question. Can event islands be claimed and built on? They
No.
cannot be claimed. You can build stuff. Obviously, it can't be claimed. Event islands are going to, just to expand on event islands a little bit, event islands are going to give you the opportunity to get things that you couldn't get on the main island, get things faster than you could get on the main island. Event islands are just, it's going to be a single focused island that comes up, a new one every day or something like that. They won't all be different every single day. They'll probably be on like a weekly random rotation or something like that. But you'll have things like a fishing tournament island where there will be like 10 ponds and you will have to travel to the right ponds to catch the right fish to win the fishing tournament. There will be like a magical growing island where you can grow magical crops and stuff, and you can trade them in for special rewards and stuff that you couldn't get elsewhere. And you can go around and destroy other people's crops by stomping on them and smacking them with knockback sticks, but you can't actually kill anybody. We'll bring back one of our favorites, the excavation island, where the entire island can be mined, and you pick up artifacts, and you trade in those artifacts for money. And the top artifact was actually an ancient staff that you could use and fight with that launched fireballs. So we'll bring back a lot of old islands. We've got a lot of new ones in the works. One of the big things is that none of the islands will be based around PvP because all of them will be PvP enabled. Yes, if for those of you that want to fight people, event islands are where you go. It is a small area that everyone chooses to go to, and if you want to fight people, you get to fight them on those islands. Now, there will be some islands where the combat is limited or non-existent, but 90% of the islands are going to be PvP enabled, and probably 75% will be fully PvP with whatever you have. So yeah, that's a big one for event islands. So higher risk, higher reward stuff. Town progression. When will airships for towns be added? I don't know.
Well, it's the airship captain, I think, is what he's specifically talking about. That this question is talking about. Again, we'll be revisiting town progression in a little bit, or with this whole reset thing, dev period. So we'll be addressing that during then.
Yep. All right. Follow up on the travel question: vehicles, airships, boats. Obviously, the question right above answers that somewhat. As for vehicles and boats and stuff, maybe we've done some R&D, and we've discovered some interesting things, but that's all I'm going to say because I don't want to get people's hopes up too much about things that are very difficult and that we may or may not be able to do. Can we get a museum in Nunara with some history before the reset? Maybe. I mean, I've got nothing against it. It's fun. It's cool. It just takes time, and we want to make sure that our builders, we're making the most of our builders' time. So we'll see. Definitely a cool idea. It just really depends if we have the time to do it. Are there any plans to rework or enhance cooking? Any more quests with the very interesting tutorial quest given for cooking? Gorsay Ramden, the man,
Classic.
the myth, the legend.
Like I mentioned earlier, we don't have plans currently to obviously, when you learn a skill, you go through the tutorial quest for that skill. We discussed expanding quest lines beyond that to unlock stuff for those skills. We're likely not going to go that route for the reasons mentioned before. But I don't know. Maybe Gorsay Random will come back as a story character later on. Who knows?
Who knows?
Cool.
Who
All right.
knows?
Can we add a war elo system for flex purposes? That's actually kind of a cool idea. I mean, it'll be on leaderboards for sure, but of course, leaderboards are monthly, so it would be interesting to kind of have a system that just kind of gives people what we would call, reputation or something like that in terms of how powerful they are. That could be cool. I could definitely see us doing something like that. Good suggestion. I would recommend writing something up. By the way, for all of you guys who are kind of recommending ideas, please write them up. Put them in the forums or something, because as much as we do read back through this document for stuff, anyone who's looking at this document knows that it's 11 pages long by now. it can be very hard to remember everything we've seen. So if you have a cool idea and I said I liked it, or anyone said that they liked it, or you're just convinced it will be good anyway, go post in the forums and expand on the idea. Are there going to be more crops via agriculture? There are no plans to add more crops via agriculture. There can be, again, suggestions, make them, we can do stuff. There is a limit to some of the stuff we can do with new agriculture crops because, as you guys know, we use a lot of heads. It can be tough to make some of them, but we can definitely try and do some stuff. But one of the biggest issues with agriculture that a lot of players say is that agriculture is just farming. There's nothing more than that. So I would prefer to find a way to make agriculture a more skilly skill than just add more crops. All right. Has there been any discussion about the Thieves Guild? Smuggling, lockpicking, burglary, pickpocketing? Is there a lot of potential there? Will there be anything more in terms of skill? Event Islands, look for smuggling to come back. Anyone who is an alpha knows what smuggling is. Smuggling is probably one of our absolute favorite mechanics. However, it is pretty broken. So we're hoping by implementing on an event island and stuff, we can create a system where players are running smuggling crates around that they pay for, and they're in a smaller area, so the risk is higher. You can actually find people to kill, along with a few other things. As for pickpocketing and burglary, yeah, make a forum post. I agree. There's a lot of potential there. But it can be hard to figure out a good way to implement in game. Because, you could think about picklocking doors in NPC towns or chests and getting some items and stuff like that. But that requires, adjusting some stuff, adding some new stuff, putting ways to kind of direct people towards it. Not a bad idea. I like it. But, give us some expansion on the idea. It's definitely a cool one. Any plans to add fish blocks? I didn't know fish made
What
blocks.
is a fish block?
All right, we'll wait for more expansion on the fish block idea.
Will there be any new building blocks, specifically slabs, maybe? Real quick, I want to tackle this. First of all, the 1.16 blocks will be available to everybody, but we will also be, one thing that we're going to be heavily working on this, for this dev period is the texture pack, and we will actually have the ability to add custom blocks, so potentially, we'll see.
Yep, texture pack is coming out with 1.16. We're finally going to get it done because the texture pack is easy, it works, it's good, and it's going to allow us to make some really, really cool stuff, like custom GUIs and make all the smeltery armors look cooler, stuff like that. But yeah, we're not looking to there will be multiple versions of the texture pack, so you don't have to replace your texture pack that you use if you don't want to. But we will also have a texture pack that is kind of built to go with the textures we added so that things can flow a little bit better. You'll be able to download them as well as just having them auto-downloaded on the server if you prefer. But yeah, that'll be a thing. Are better and custom mounts like horses going to be added in the future, like dolphins use as a water vehicle?
Yes. I have plans. It's okay.
Yeah. It's okay. It's okay, guys.
Tier has it under control.
Yes.
T, this is a meme question. I want to answer it. I'll answer it later. Fish blocks will be blocks of fish that you can use for decoration, like hay bales. Blocks of fish. You're going to have to send us a picture of that. I'm absolutely intrigued at this moment in time. I want to know what a fish block looks like. But we don't necessarily have any plans to add fish blocks because we don't know what they look like. But hey, get a picture of us. Maybe we'll hop on the fish block train.
Are we down to the meme questions?
Sorry,
finally?
no, I'm still
yet.
catching up. I'm still catching up.
Oh, okay.
T's doing his best. There's a lot of questions. We've had a bit more of a dynamic Q&A this time, so this is going to be kind of fun. Well, we're probably going to start to wind it down. It's been nearly an hour and a half. Yeah, I guess that is a fish block.
Oh my god.
Sideways slabs and dynamic lighting.
That's actually a different thing. That is a player head. And for those that are curious, we do actually have plans to add the ability to get custom player heads in game so that you guys can actually start to decorate your town with player heads. Everybody will have access to player heads. Now, you won't have access to every player head under the sun, but we will have a massive list of them, and it will continuously expand. So yeah, that'll be a thing.
Thank you, Digger. Very helpful.
Shinky, what is that? That's what I want to know. What is that?
It's an abomination.
That's a turkin.
What it is.
He has his backpack. All right, let's see here. What about sideways slabs and dynamic lighting? I don't think we can do
Sideways slabs are not possible in vanilla Minecraft. Dynamic lighting is, but it's a little bit of a performance concern, both for the client and for the server. We'll see if we can get something working potentially. If not, we're not going to be pursuing that. But don't expect too much from that. Can I finally get dolphin and turtle leather for armor? Wait, are you talking about? Are you talking about armor for those as a mount, or leather from those
I think they're talking
things?
about like killing a dolphin, getting dolphin hide, and then
bunch of dolphins.
using
Oh.
dolphin hide and tannery. Yeah.
Okay.
We can come to that. We'll see. I'm not going to promise that we're going to do something with that, but we could. For the players who love to fight in the water, maybe there is something there for leather armor in the water. Are there going to be things we can craft for mounts, like saddles or armor? Yes. We will definitely have those things. What are the plans for mods, minimaps, etc.? So it's not going to, as far as I understand, again, as you guys know, the staff team is in charge of this stuff now. What are the plans for mods? I don't think it's going to change very much. There are going to be certain mods that we're not going to allow. We still want the game to be fair, but we're also, the biggest deal is just making it so the players aren't getting an unfair advantage. But yeah, that is something that will always evolve over time.
Yeah. As it goes, for any like suggestions on, hey, we should add this mod to the allowed mods list, send that to the staff team. We'll look over it and make a discussion on it. I know that Lost has already sent over a bunch of mods that we're waiting until we hit 116 to add or not add and stuff like that. So for if anyone's just like got a cool mod that they're like, yo, this should be allowed. Yep, send it to the staff team. We'll take a look.
I want to real quick go back to the question about are we going to be able to craft things from mounts like saddles and armor? It will be possible. However, it's not actually going to show up on the mount itself, just because that's not possible within vanilla Minecraft. Or if it is, it's going to take some hackery to make it happen. For now, don't expect them to actually show up on the mount, but if I get something working, we'll see what happens. Yeah.
Can allowed mod list be straightened out? Yeah, that's a Terran question. Anything to add to that one, Terran, that hasn't been?
I don't know what's not straight about the current mods. All of the current mods that are allowed are on the rules page and on the mod list. We don't have any allowed mods that aren't on there. So I'm not certain what that question is pertaining. More details, please. That's it for me.
Yep. All right. So, guys, I want to go ahead and try and end the question stream at 6:30. At 6:30, we'll answer whatever questions are left, and then we'll dive into meme questions. So, just to let you guys know, we're gonna start to call it a night here. But all right, resource pack. Can you do stuff with Optifine compatibility and lighting? Yeah, we can do some stuff with that. I don't know about lighting specifically, but Optifine compatibility will definitely be there. But our texture pack won't require Optifine. That's one of the things that we like about 1.16 and the newer versions is that before it was going to require Optifine to be able to use the texture pack, and because of that, it kind of made it so we couldn't make the texture pack required, but we couldn't do a lot of stuff. But now that you can have supported textures within vanilla Minecraft, we can do a lot more with that. And we don't have to rely on everybody downloading a third-party mod. With Minecraft being nearly a decade old, are there any plans or discussions about hosting other types of games or moving Atlas to Hightail? We haven't decided to move anywhere else yet. Obviously, Hightail hasn't launched. We do have a lot of interest in Hightail, so maybe we will do something with that. But honestly, Minecraft may be a decade old, but guys, it is one of the most played games on the planet still. And people are constantly looking to come back to Minecraft. Minecraft is not dying anytime soon. But again, yeah, we're not.
It's not out of the question. Yeah, let's just put it. It's just not out of the question. We haven't necessarily thought about it just yet, but it's not out of the question.
Yeah, we're watching Hytale, this sort of, obviously development process, a lot of interest. Like with a lot of games, it remains to be seen when they will actually launch. Hope that it's soon, but we don't want to necessarily plan to move to something that doesn't even have a launch date yet. But we are definitely watching it, and it is a really cool platform that's being made. So who knows?
Yeah, Atlas Game Development making original games. This is something we've talked about, and we definitely want to do this, but we haven't really made any progress in that field. We've just agreed that it's something we really do want to do. But yeah, that's about it on that front. Stay tuned for what comes next. When can we expect the music releases, card games, RPGs, and fighting arcade games? Oh yeah, those coming out tomorrow. Surprise!
Hey, you guys didn't know?
Alrighty, so I think it's time to dive into the meme questions.
Oh boy.
For legal reasons, I have to say that this is a joke. That's wonderful, T. Alright, let's dive into the meme questions here. So, yeah, at the end of every state of the server, after we've answered all the good questions, we dive into the meme questions where players can basically ask us anything that doesn't have to do with the server and Atlas. Can we add crypto? Add in Terran socks?
Yes, it's already done.
Yeah. Atlas
Why was I not
blockchain is
made aware
already
of
up.
this?
You guys can get your
Terran
crypto
socks.
wallet and start filling them with gems.
No, Terran socks. They're specifically called Terran socks, Ajax.
God.
Why was I not made aware?
Yeah, we're gonna need a lot more socks here, Terran.
Alright. With the new reset.
Oh, you want to do this one?
Will we finally get a kelp leaderboard? That depends on whether or not we're capable of adding a kelp leaderboard. I think it's a little bit outside of the of our technical prowess here. Yeah.
Guys, come on, magic is easy, but kelp? Ooh.
Yeah.
We haven't practiced enough. I'm an extremely amazing coder myself, but I don't know if I would be able to accomplish something like that. That sounds very complex.
Agriculture. Can we make it fun, please? No, sorry. Go watch the crop grow.
No fun.
What is each of the elders' preferred type of bread? That's a
there's different types of bread.
Question.
I don't eat much bread, to be honest. Does rice count as bread? I love rice.
I don't think rice counts.
No, rice does not count as bread.
This is much worse of an answer than I thought I was going to get.
I wasn't expecting anything, and I'm still let down. I don't know, rye or pumpernickel probably, because nothing beats a good Reuben. Probably mine.
Damn, I'm actually giving
a real answer. God, you guys have your real answers.
You guys should have done your homework.
Actually, I do have one. I have what's it called? Sourdough. And the only reason is my sister makes some really good homemade sourdough bread. She learned how to make that over COVID, so over the COVID break. So
that's fair.
Yeah. All right. This next one's a fun question. What are the elders' hidden pleasures? Watching anime, playing certain games. I'm not talking your dirty, sick personal lives. Well, for me, I love to binge watch shows. I also like to play games. I've been binge watching The Expanse recently. That's a lot of fun. I've been watched a whole bunch of others that are good ones like The Boys, Suits. Highly recommend all of them. But games, I've played a lot of Warframe, a lot of Age of
Wait, hold on.
Empires, a lot of Among Us.
Ajax, you need to tell them about how you put more hours into Warframe than I did in an entire year in the short amount of time that you played.
Hey, half the amount of time into that I put into Dota my freshman year of college. It shouldn't be surprising that I almost failed my freshman year of college, but I didn't. Yeah, don't play Dota. It's a sinkhole of toxicity and obsessive meta builds. Don't do it. But yeah, that's me. Io, how about you?
What am I into? I'm obviously a big gamer as well. I just recently got into Among Us also, which has been super fun. But I'm also like big into cooking. My girlfriend and I just moved to Colorado recently, so we're becoming outdoorsy people. So like hiking, we got inner tubes, bikes, all that fun stuff to do outside before the rest of the state burns down.
Cool. Tyr, what are you doing?
Watching anime. I absolutely love reading books. Other than that, I mean, I've played a little bit of Among Us, but honestly, I've been just kind of literally just been reading books. Like I reread the Inheritance Cycle series twice since COVID started. I've reread Harry Potter a few times, reread like all the Percy Jackson, Heroes of Olympus, all of those again. I'm not Christian.
Cool. I just want to add a book here because I've been reading some books recently too. Expeditionary Force series. It's a great series. It's a realistic sci-fi series. Highly recommended. But yeah, sorry. T, on to you.
Well, it's certainly not taking these notes. I can tell you that. God, I hate sitting in the server every single time having to take these notes. I hope you guys understand this.
You don't find hidden pleasures in taking notes?
No, I really don't. Like everybody else has said, I love playing video games. I mean, that's just kind of a given. I love reading, though I haven't really had the chance to do much reading recently since I've just been so swamped with schoolwork. And writing. I don't know if you guys have been watching my Discord status at all, but I am currently doing something called the National November Writing Month, which is something that, creative writers all over the world do. They try to write 50,000 words in the month of November. It's an optional assignment in one of my classes right now that our professor is having us do, that we're working on an original novel and we're supposed to write 50,000 words. If we do it, we're guaranteed no less than a B+ in his class. So I'm hoping to write out 50,000 words and then by the start of 2021, edit through all of it, and then like mid-2021, finally publish my own book. So that's the hope. That's the goal.
Cool. Alrighty, on to the next meme question on the list. Have y'all eaten yet? If so, what did you have? I haven't eaten dinner yet, but for lunch, I made some bomb-ass baked macaroni with buffalo chicken. Pretty good stuff. I don't use normal breadcrumbs. I pulverize Cheez-Its and use those as breadcrumbs. It is absolutely terrible for you. It's why I only have it once every few weeks, but goddamn is it good. Highly recommended.
I wasn't expecting that.
Well, I'm certainly
that,
not gonna. I was gonna say I'm certainly not gonna pulverize Cheez-Its, but I have not eaten, and this question reminded me that I'm starving. So who knows? Maybe take a Mexican, probably.
Oh, someone showed up. Welcome.
I haven't had dinner yet. I'm probably gonna make chicken nuggets because my mom and my sister went to Dallas, and I think my dad fell asleep. So I need to cook, and that seems like too much effort. So I'm probably just gonna make some chicken nuggets.
Cool. All right, T. Want to read them out what you had?
Yeah, for me, I literally stuffed Chinese food down my face before I showed up to Houston in the server. I was nearly going to be late because I was trying to eat dinner.
I definitely read that as you were typing it as literally stuffed Chinese food down my throat before throwing up.
Oh, no.
I was like, no, you ate too fast.
Alrighty, game night. Can the impromptu game night please be among us? Yes,
It is.
As a matter of fact, guys, after State of the Server, in about an hour after it's over, we're going to get back in some game chats, and we're going to try and play some Among Us. It's going to be fairly impromptu, and we're going to have to figure out some rules, because hopefully there will be more than 10 people there. But, yeah, so if you guys like Among Us, you have it, you want to get it, join us for Among Us game night. It'll be hopefully a lot of fun. And for those that don't know, Among Us is free on mobile, and it is $5 on Steam. So anybody can play.
There's a 100-player Among Us mod.
Yes.
Oh
That
no, we're not doing
chaotic.
that. That sounds terrible.
There are 10 imposters.
That's
God.
insane.
I cannot imagine that. Oh, no, that's not happening. All right. Ever had human, and what are your opinions on it? And I take it medium rare.
I'm gonna pass on this question.
Be
Yeah,
careful
Like
how you-
preemptively pass on this question.
It makes me rather uncomfortable.
This seems fairly incriminating. I'd be careful how you answer this.
Yeah, like, what am I supposed to do? Correct you that medium rare is a bad way to cook your human? It's just like, you're just going to think I'm guilty then.
We already know he's guilty, but then you're gonna think it.
All right. Will Star Citizen launch before this? Man, if it does, then we've got problems.
Star Citizen is still 4 years down the line. We're not gonna be launching in 4 years.
For those that don't know, Tyr is a big supporter of Star Citizen. So if you guys have any Star Citizen related stuff, talk to Tyr. He'd love to talk about it.
I've backed Star Citizen since 2014.
God damn. Talk about dev hell.
And to be fair, I've casually supported the game. Occasionally just checking up on it. I think it's a pretty cool idea. It's very ambitious. We'll see how it goes. I mean,
all right. So this meme list keeps growing, and it's 6:40. Guys, we're gonna stop taking questions at 6:45 because we want to finish by 7. So if you guys have any questions you want to get in, you got a few minutes left to get them in, and then T can relax just a tiny bit. All right. When will fishy instruments be available to the regular peasants of Atlas? Absolutely freaking never, because I've experienced fish instruments, and it is going to give you cancer, and I'm not going to let you give each other cancer or me cancer. So no fishy instruments.
There's a lot of horrible instruments that never made it out of testing. Thank God.
Like the Ender Dragon noise.
Oh
no! Someone made it in game. I can hear it.
No! I think Tyr just has it saved.
Yup.
Oh God, that's awful. Okay. What about put pocketing? What if I want to put something in everyone else's inventory? It's called Q. You hit Q, and then it goes to the ground, and then they pick it up immediately.
I didn't know we added that feature. That's crazy.
Yeah, dude, it's one of the reasons people play Atlas, because
We're
drop items.
talented developers.
More obnoxious instruments when.
No.
You people need to get lives. You're not getting fish instruments or stupid corn instruments. I don't know what you people want, but you're not getting more obnoxious instruments. God. I love instruments, but I hate what they can do. I hate what they've unleashed
On this world.
Atlas Bedrock port ever. So believe it or not, this is not out of the question entirely. There are proxies that exist that allow Bedrock clients to connect to Java Edition servers, and we've actually set up and tested them before. They're super buggy and they don't work well right now, but if they get them working, then it's easy for us to set up. So it's not out of the question, but it's also not up to us. So yeah, kind of an interesting answer to that one. All right, why are the elders allergic to responding to players posting on the suggestion forums? God, that's
I actually have this one specifically. Me, I've actually gone through most of them, and I'll type out a response, and then I'll delete it because I'm unsure of whether my response actually makes sense. So yeah, that's a thing that I do. But I do try, if I have a good response, I'll usually respond to them. We're gonna try and get better about responding to overall forum posts. But yeah.
Yeah, one thing
A lot
also
of
to
them
keep in
do also
mind.
get brought up in dev meetings, just like scrolling through and saying, "Oh, this is a cool idea. This is so on and so forth." Go on.
Yeah, one of the things to keep in mind, guys, is that even though we don't respond to everything, we do read everything. It just doesn't take much time out of our day to read everything, so we do read stuff. And it's unfortunate. One of the reasons it feels like we don't read stuff is because we don't implement a lot of suggestions that come through. And one of the biggest reasons for that is because we have such a massive pipeline that's full of stuff already that it can be. We don't normally end up slotting things in that pipeline way ahead of everything else unless we absolutely need to. But we do read stuff. I promise we're reading stuff. Any plans tonight? Well, hopefully I'm going to play Among Us with you guys later, and if you guys all ditch me, then I'm going to go play Among Us with some of my other friends. So I'm playing Among Us tonight, but join me or don't. I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Will there be a Terran socks-based economy? Yes. Any plans to add dynamic mommy milkers system? What?
That falls into the human meat question. I feel like answering that question is
What?
like incriminating in some way.
What about
milk in cauldrons? Could make cheese wheels. Cheese is a thing to look forward to in the future. We've thought about doing that, and we probably will do that. I don't know if you're going to make it in a cauldron, but that is an interesting idea. All right, will we be able to get the Terran head from the upcoming head shop? I mean, if you guys really want the ability to get Terran's head, then yeah, I don't see why not. That could be a thing. Is League safe? Don't play League. It's no different than Dota. Dota may be a better game, but they're both terrible. Yeah, I know that's going to piss some people off, but it's the truth. I'm sorry. Am I close to drinking age? I'm close to drinking age. What do the elders recommend? Man, I feel like I could, expose my...
honey tequila?
Ew.
Honey tequila.
Honey tequila.
Yeah.
Huh.
Have you guys never had? Okay, honey tequila. I had in Mexico, and man, it's like a really smooth tequila, and it hits you like a fucking truck. It's
Guys.
great. I love it. It's also
from Texas-shaped shot glasses.
It's also $300 a bottle. So you choose what you want to do with that.
Oh my god, man,
Holy
Mr. Fancy
shit.
Pants over here.
I got it for free. I got it for free. Okay. I didn't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the only reason.
I could talk about this question for a while. If you're into beers, just don't drink light beers. You don't need to go for the most crafty craft beers, but don't get Coors Light or Bud Light or something. For God's sake, get a decent beer. It's an absolutely different experience. If you don't like beer, I recommend ciders and meads. They're also really good. If you want just my favorite mixed drink, I kind of flip between two. Sweet tea with lemon vodka and good old-fashioned rum and cokes are all good. But yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah, if you want a good tequila that's better than
I have
tequila,
one more I have to add. I have to add one more.
Go
because
for it.
this is the one that freaks everyone out, and
Oh boy.
you need to go try it. If you are of drinking age, for all you young kids, wait, be responsible. Definitely like I was.
Like
But
you did, yeah.
sweet red wine or a fruity red wine with Coca-Cola. Mix it 50-50. You think it sounds terrible and nuts and crazy? It's good. Try it.
I've tried
If
that
you're
with
of age.
ginger ale, and it did not work.
Ew, ginger ale. Meh.
I'll have to try the Coke.
The Nerf
Well,
gun.
that's very interesting.
Fortnite.
Drink if you like tequila but want something better than tequila. Definitely drink mezcal, and mezcal based cocktails are where it's at. I've been doing a lot of fancy cocktails with mezcal lately, and they're great. Melt some fruit in there. It's
For
great.
those that are curious, you can make mezcal on Atlas. Or at least
Oh,
you
that's right.
can, too.
Forgot
I'm not
about
sure
that.
you still can. I think you can. All right, next one. What do we do to Swift? He is getting old, and we may have to put him down. Yeah, I mean, it's that time, man. It's just take him out back and do what's got to be done. Love you, Swift.
And with that, everyone have a great night. Oh God, there's another page of questions.
You guys told me to keep adding them.
No,
Okay.
I hope you've stopped by now.
Yeah, no, we're solving
Okay.
questions. I'm
We
so
stopped
I'm so
at
over
45
this.
after.
The questions are done. We're not taking any more questions. We'll finish this list.
This is
And,
the last page.
There's a lot of
Then-
material
then-
in these questions, and I'm scared.
Oh yeah. Oh, there you go. What's your favorite anime and food dishes, Tyr?
Favorite anime? Recently it's probably Demon Slayer. I really enjoyed it. Food? Oh boy. I would have to say butter chicken with garlic naan.
Ooh,
Has
that
to be my
sounds good.
That's
favorite.
Good choice.
Garlic naan is where it's at, man.
Yes.
Especially I've had obviously, you know, I'm Indian, so I make this at home. Obviously I haven't made garlic naan at home, but I got it from a really good place in Austin. If you guys are in Austin and are looking for good Indian food, there's an Indian restaurant called Biryani Grill, and they make Biryani Grill. There's one in South Austin, one in North, and one in East. They're a little bit further away. I think they do like deliveries. So take a look around. You might be close to one. But yeah, Biryani Grill, they have excellent Indian food
They're
overall.
open right now.
Yep, they are.
Alrighty. Answer some of these. T's going ahead of us, but I'll read out some of the answers. Can we publicly execute Digger for the server? Yeah, definitely. We're
Let's
doing
go
that.
for it.
Yeah, sorry, Digger, it's happening. Any plans to add Crucifixion to Atlas? Maybe a Crusade expansion? I'm definitely down for the Religion's Crusade expansion. T, make it happen. Any plans to add Good Boy points? What about Bad Boy points? Good Boy points maybe, Bad Boy points makes me uncomfortable.
Wait, hold on. Bad Boy points already existed. Notoriety. We did not like this feature. Brand likes being tied up in roleplay. Can we add handcuffs?
Oh.
It's 2020. I'm not gonna judge here.
I feel like this man just got exposed to the whole server.
I don't know, man.
Ooh, here you go, Tyr.
How much money have I sunk into Star Citizen? About $500. For those of you that didn't hear, I have one freelancer and 2 Constellation Andromedas. One of those Constellation Andromedas is probably going to be switched out for another ship if I like it, I guess. Yeah.
What are the social security numbers of the elders? Okay, write this down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9. I think that's how many numbers there are in a.
Yeah. Mine is right. Make sure you guys are paying attention. It's 69420. 69420. You guys got it?
That's
Cool.
also not 8.
It's okay.
That's a hot take there, Tyr. Thanks for that.
Yes.
Okay, what TV shows are elder recommended? Okay, so T put his down. You want to read yours out?
Sure. It's been a while since I've honestly watched TV. I'm not much of a TV watcher, but when it came out on Netflix, I really enjoyed watching the first season of The Witcher.
Yeah. All right.
To finish that.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah.
Oof. All right, Io, you're next.
Yeah, I'm in a similar boat. I haven't been. I usually love binging shows, but pretty much this whole year, I'm sure like a lot of other Americans, I've just been. I'll call it doom watching the news, and late night and all that. So, but before that,
you ugly as
big,
fuck. You look like
kick.
my
You
butt.
guys like kind of fun, informative shows. There's a show called Explained on Netflix where they go and every episode they just kind of dive into a random topic and do like a deep dive on it. It's super interesting.
Also, that Leah Remini like Scientology, documentary series where she kind of blows open that whole, what's going on with there is absolutely fascinating. If you want to get terrified, but yeah.
Cool.
Oh,
All
and the
right, Terry.
Mandalorian. Oh, the Mandalorian's back, and I'm.
Yep.
Oh,
Watched the
yeah.
first episode. It was really good.
I gotta watch the second one. I haven't seen it yet.
It's a big nope.
Oh, right. It came out today, didn't it?
Yeah.
Second episode of Mandalorian out today.
I haven't watched TV or TV shows in a while, so I'm a skip on this one.
All right. Well, for me, so the one show that I haven't watched recently, but I highly recommend everyone watch, go watch Star Wars Clone Wars on Disney Plus. It is the best Star Wars content in existence, better than any of the music, better than any of the movies, even better than Mandalorian. Go watch the Clone Wars. But stuff that I've been watching recently, I've watched The Boys, I've watched Suits, I'm currently watching The Expanse. There's a lot of good TV shows out there. Those are just some of my favorites. Mandalorian's great too. Definitely recommend that one. But yeah. Okay. Please be heading of Digger before the end of the server. I mean, we already said we're going to do this, so it's not Digger's decision. If you could pick the next major Minecraft update, what would it be? I mean, an end update would be cool, yeah, T, but I personally think that the best way to go for a Minecraft update is to just make servers more efficient. We are so limited on what we can do because Minecraft is such a poorly maintained game. I can easily add stuff into the game, but we can't add half the stuff we want to because Minecraft is so crap when it comes to efficiency. All right. Do you guys want to add anything more? Or you just want to keep going?
I don't think I have anything else to add. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the performance update.
Same. Yeah.
All right. Drunk or sober? Somewhere in the middle right now.
Yeah,
I had to get something in me before we did this announcement of the server dev period. But by the end of tonight, hopefully the former.
Yeah.
I was just yup.
Oh yeah.
I'm sober as well, unfortunately.
God, getting such a feel on the elders. We're all like sober, unfortunately.
Wanna go on?
All right. Oh, I'll have to ask my girlfriend if I'm allowed to go on dates with other people.
No.
Am I allowed to do that? Okay, I'm not allowed to go on dates with other people.
Hard rejection from T.
Io, what's your answer? I want to know Io's answer before
I don't know. Give me an offer. Where are we going?
Io, always the businessman.
That depends if you're paying for food or not. That's all I care about.
Free dinner.
All right, not a meme question. Can we add Terran socks? We already added them. It happened. Truth or dare? Both.
Yes.
Yeah, questions are over, so you guys are gonna have to find a different way to give it to our truth and dares here. Alrighty, Atlas die cut sticker merch. I would love to put one on my laptop. I would love to have merch stuff too. Merch stuff is something we've always wanted to do, but merch can be pretty tough because it's different to have a server that everyone can log into, and it's different to be sending out real items to real people. So we want it to happen in the future, guys. We definitely do, and I love the die sticker idea. It's a good one. Alrighty. With that brings us to the end of State of the Server. This will be our last State of the Server for this year. We won't be having one in December. We'll be launching the dev period. There's a lot of stuff coming up. Super excited everyone's able to come out, hang out with us for State of the Server, have some fun, ask some questions. For anyone that's interested, in about an hour at around 8 p.m. CST, we'll be launching a impromptu game night in Among Us for Atlas. Again, impromptu, so we're still going to have to figure some things out, but definitely recommend people show up.
It will be streamed. It will be streamed just like the SOTS is. So if you guys can't necessarily play, you guys can, sit and watch him. So yeah.
Cool.
And
Alrighty.
also, one thing that we want to reiterate as we're closing up the state of the server, while yes, we are going into a dev period, and yes, we won't necessarily have state of the servers throughout the dev period, we are planning to do, if not weekly, bi-weekly, or at least once a month game nights. We're going to have different dev logs or stuff that you guys can keep up with our progress. We will be keeping the community informed in our progress of the dev period and how everything is going, so you guys won't just be left in the dark for all of this kind of stuff.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, thanks everyone for coming out. We always love talking to you guys about stuff coming on. We know that this was a little bit tougher of a state of the server because we had to announce the dev period and everything that comes with that. But hopefully you guys are down to have a fresh start with all the awesome stuff that comes with it. And I really look forward to seeing you guys an hour for game night. All right.
See you guys in an hour.
Talk to you guys later.
All right. Good night, guys.
Good night, everyone.
And with that, I am going to end off the stream. We'll be back in an hour for Atlas Game Night.